Everyone, and thanks for joining another Megaport Live Tech Drop-in session. Um, so what is this session about? Uh, we actually at Megaport, we host 3 sessions, sometimes 4. For example, today, we host the general 3 sessions globally every Friday, led by one of our solution architects from APAC, North America, and Europe. And this is a very informal chat about pretty much Megaport products and solutions. So in that case, please feel free to bring up any hot topics you want us to discuss or you want us to cover in this session. And by the end of the session, we also try to do some live demos to show you how things work with Megaport portal and how do you order and make changes in the real world. So that just in case you haven't got any chance to try it yourself, so you can have a bit of a look of what it looks like. Um, okay. First of all, here's a little bit about myself. My name is Morgan Wang, and I'm pre-sales solution architect at Megaport, based in Melbourne. Predominantly, I support our customers in Victoria, Tasmania, and New Zealand. But if you are from some other places, also need some help from about Megaport product and solution, please feel free to reach out. You can contact me via this email address I put here, or otherwise connect me on LinkedIn. And we do have a topic today. It's a migration TPN onto Megaport. Because we did actually have another session in roughly March talk about TPN exit and the options to migrate TPN or replace TPN services with Megaport offering. And now it's come to a point where a lot of customers start to action on this plan, and it's probably worth to talk about the migration of TPN services. But before that, let's probably deep dive in, not deep dive. Let's just talk about some 101 of Megaport. Um, Megaport is one of the largest network as a service provider globally. So currently we are in over 930 plus data centers globally. That covers 26 different countries, and we are actually interconnecting public cloud provider or private cloud providers and over 280 different cloud on-ramp locations. And from these data centers and from these different locations, customer can order Megaport physical port in data center, or Megaport cloud router, or Megaport virtual edge service, and interconnect probably from public cloud provider or their own data center footprint or some other partners or customers who is also on Megaport Fabric. Yeah, that's really rough introduction of what do we do, and Megaport would do things in a very cost-effective way, and everything in terms of the VXC virtual cross connection and MCR and MV. You can order that with a term. You can order that with a month-to-month agreement, which basically we charge that per minute of the time you use, and that's provide the customer huge flexibility of they only need service when they need service. But today's topic is more around TPN. TPN is actually a offering from Telstra. It's also a software-defined network as a service offering based on Telstra's global infrastructure. And it was designed very similar to, if you compare the two products or two offerings together, they're very similar in terms of everything is automated, and it's all flexible in terms of the speed can be adjusted up and down, and a lot of things is configurable, and also TPN offers the hypervisor platform for customer to run their own virtual machine as well, versus Megaport versus offering this similar thing MVE for customer to run their own virtual machine as a network function virtualization as well. So the two solutions are very similar. So it really depends on if the customer want to, or maybe customer more rely on Telstra for their corporate network, they probably pick TPN, or if the customer more focusing on the global reach in terms of getting to certain data centers in Europe or in American, they probably leaning on to Megaport solution. But unfortunately, due to some internal reasons, Telstra is turning off the TPN network, the whole TPN network. So by 16th of July this year, that's 19 days later, TP1 will no longer accept any new services or recontracting any existing services. And that's a passive CSL. And by the 16th of January next year, that's 203 days away from now, the whole TPN infrastructure will be powered off. That means no service will be available, even the customer probably still using them. So that's actually potentially will create some impacts to TPN customers. So in this case, it's actually Telstra and the Megaport partner together to help customer find a way to minimum the impact and maybe migrate that existing TPN footprint or TPN solution to another alternative solution, maybe from Telstra, maybe from Megaport. And there are a lot of options. Let's probably go through the migration options first. So if you look into Telstra TPN website, which I have that open here, instead of in addition to all the capabilities and capacities, Telstra actually provides some typical scenarios of why why customer can use TPN and why TPN is a good fit for customers' certain requirement. And there are three actually typical scenario. One is data center interconnection. So TPN actually also available in certain data centers in Australia. I think that's roughly 5 to 10 data centers, where customer can order a port in that data center and use TPN infrastructure to interconnect those data centers. Apparently, there's some product specifications provided by TPN, and in that case, if the customer looking to migrate their existing DC interconnection from TPN to Megaport, there may be some different differences in terms of the options they have. For example, that you potentially have more choices in terms of the physical port, in terms of the bandwidth, and you potentially can extend your network from existing Telstra TPN enabled data centers to other data centers, but it's not necessarily all required by existing TPN customers. So there are multiple options. For example, from Telstra, you got a choice of a national Ethernet, which is a layer 2 point-to-point connection or point-to-multiple-point connection that provides you the connectivity potentially from any data center Telstra already popped in to your choice of the B and the data center. National Ethernet apparently only support up to 2 gig now. So if the speed requirement is higher than that, it's probably not suitable. And National Ethernet also provide the option for customer to build their high availability design. If National Ethernet for any reason, for example, the bandwidth or any other reasons, not a suitable option, Telstra also has a optic wave or Telstra wavelength service as an option, which is more of a wave offering that support very static speed options, 1 gig, 10 gig, 100 gig, and also customer have the option to build their high availability solution with optic wave and the TWS services. And if none of them are actually preferred by existing TPN customer who is using TPN for data center interconnection, of course, Megaport is another option you can consider, which Megaport provides the speed option from 1 meg all the way to 100 gig, which can be adjusted or changed in flight, flexible. All the VXCs, the virtual cross connections, is equivalent to the layer 2 connection from Megaport is comes with built-in high availability. That means we have underneath transmission that protected to support the VXC. Whenever the transmission goes down, we can fail over to another path, which makes sure that the VXC will not be impacted. And in terms of the physical port availability, we also have the option for customer to order multiple ports in different availability zones in one data center to build their own high availability solution. So that's here I got a very indicative diagram, which using Megaport as your DC interconnection. I only have one port in each side of the data center, and you could potentially have two ports which on separate piece of hardware, and that provide you end-to-end protection in that case. So that's one typical scenario of TPN and the migration option. The other one is secure internet access. So this is a diagram presented by TPN that you can use a TPN network as your internet breakout for the whole IPVPN or MPLS network, which TPN can provide you a virtual network functionality as your firewall, and internet will be injected from TPN into your MPLS network. If customer currently using this solution, then there is another option currently available from Telstra, Secure Edge, which is very similar to this TPN Secure Internet Access. It is natively integrated with the Telstra MPLS network. So you don't have to build any customized infrastructure to be able to access internet from this Secure Edge platform. And the Secure Edge also bundled with Palo Alto Network virtual machine series firewall. So it's pretty much providing you the layer 3 termination and some firewalling functionalities. Customer can have their own login to the Panorama to manage this virtual firewall, or otherwise Telstra can provide managed service to the customer to help them manage this firewall. But in the case that customer not prefer this solution for any reasons, for example, Palo Alto is not their most favorite firewall provider, or some other reasons, Megaport can provide a very similar solution to replace their existing TPN secure internet solution. We can integrate with Telstra MPLS network through different DC locations, and we can also provide MVE for customers to run their own virtual machine as a firewall from different windows, Cisco, Fortinet, Palo Alto, things like that. Otherwise, if it is not required to directly integrate this internet into the MPLS, instead the customer probably want to just provide internet to their data center. You can do that through a DC port as well, and we can deliver the service into your rack, either with Telstra either with Megaport provided virtual firewall or customer's own physical firewall to terminate that internet service. That's all possible. And from the rack, you can then interconnect to your existing MPLS network. Of course, that option is also available from Telstra as a TEAD service. It's just all available for customer to validate and pick. Here I provided another high-level diagram of secure internet replacement solution from Megaport. So you can see that from the Megaport internet, we can deliver to two different transit routers. That's for protection. And from the transit router, customer can have their own MVE to run as a firewall, terminate that internet service, and then deliver to a physical port in the data center. And from there, customer can take that service into their MPLS network or maybe headquarter or just leave that in the data center. The last typical scenario provided by TPN was cloud connectivity with a Telstra Cloud Router. It's basically Telstra TPN provide a Telstra Cloud Router service, which is a single routing instance virtual router, can interconnect multiple endpoints altogether. That's typically including customers' public cloud services, for example, AWS, Azure, Google, Oracle, things like that. And also can connect back to customers' MPLS network or connect back to customers' on-premise router in data center. And in that case, Telstra has another solution that can be considered as a replacement, which called Cloud Connector, which again, it is natively integrated with the Telstra MPLS network. So all the traffic will be directly injected into the MPLS network. All the other sites on the MPLS network automatically have access to the Cloud Connector. And the Cloud Connector can then initiate AWS hosted WAF connection or Azure Express Route connection. It is a layer 3 offering, so the Cloud Connector actually can peer with the public cloud provider directly. On the other side, it peers with Telstra MPLS PE, so all the routes will be managed by the Cloud Connector, basically forward all the traffic. This is something customer can consider, but there are apparently some limitations with the Cloud Connector. It is natively integrated with the MPLS network, and that's the only way it delivers service to the customer. So if the customer want to drop the service to a specific data center instead of the whole MPLS network, it is not possible with the Cloud Connector. And also Cloud Connector now only capable of interconnecting into AWS by hosted WAF and Azure Express Route. Where if that's not something that can fulfill customers' requirement, apparently Megaport could provide some other options to the customer. We can support AWS hosted WAF, hosted connection, Azure Express Route, and all the other popular cloud providers, Oracle, Google Cloud, WebEx, things like that. And based on customers' different requirement, again, we can deliver the service to the DC port and just lead that traffic into physical DC, or we can, through the DC port, inject that into customers' MPLS network. In terms of layer 3 termination, it can be on Megaport Fabric with Megaport Cloud Router or Megaport Virtual Edge. Or otherwise, if the customer prefer to terminate the layer 3 by themselves on their own device, we can leave that in either data center or customer side and let customer to utilize their existing hardware to peer with the cloud provider directly. So that becomes a layer 2 offering from Megaport then. And another high-level diagram of this scenario from Megaport is here I put a pair of MCR So Megaport Cloud Router, that's equivalent to Telstra Cloud Router, single routing instance, and you can use that to interconnect multi-cloud and also bring the traffic back to your data center or to your MPLS network. If this is not something customer is looking for, customer is probably looking for more complex or more ways to implement routing rules and security rules on the layer 3 device. We also have MVE virtual edge that customer can use that as a router or firewall to manipulate routing and in some customized rules. All right, that's pretty much all the options where the customer can leverage both Telstra's existing solution or Megaport solution to replace their existing TPN solution. As I mentioned, this need to happen in 203 days before the whole TPN network powered off. In terms of how to integrate Megaport solution with Telstra existing network, that's probably more of a next level discussion because based on the discussion before, it's quite obvious that if a customer chooses the Telstra solution, normally it is natively integrated with MPLS network. That's super great. That's really easy for customer to consume the service. But sometimes if the service is not enough to fulfill customer requirement, they need jump onto Megaport solution or even any other solution. The first question is how can I interconnect these two networks together? There are multiple options because we actually working with Telstra team actively to validate different options and any specific customer scenario. Apparently, the first one is if the customer already have a data center, or maybe they have multiple data centers, that's very similar, these two options. We can actually deliver a Megaport port into physical port in the data center and connect into customers' existing maybe firewall, maybe router, maybe even multi-layer switch. And from there, it's relatively easier for the customer to then inject those traffic into their MPLS network or some other network from point to point or things like that. So that choice is on the customer, as long as we have the Megaport fabric connected to the customer's device physically in the data center. And yeah, that's just two options if the customer already in the data center. And in case the customer probably not necessarily in any physical data center or they are on the journey of moving out from physical data center, in that case, if they want to consume Megaport service probably in their headquarters or some other place, we can still deliver the physical port in a close by data center. For example, if the customer in Melbourne, we have probably roughly 13, 15 different options that data center available for us to order a port. And from this port, customer can order another extension service from Telstra, maybe again, national Ethernet, optic wave service or wavelength service, and extend that port to their probably headquarters or to their own data center. So in that case, you not necessarily need to stay in any commercial data center we already popped in. We can still extend the service to your location. The other option probably kind of a more complex and also in certain ways more expensive. Just if the customer still want to integrate the service integrate the service directly into their MPLS network. That said means they want to keep the existing MPLS network and allow all sites in the MPLS network to access Megaport service directly. Then the way to do that is then customer can order Telstra MPLS carrier service, which is a business IP adapt service. in any data center or data centers they prefer. And in those data center, we can actually provide a port to interconnect into customers' business IP service. So in that case, the other thing to consider is do we need to provide a layer 3 termination for the customer? If the customer already have a router or a firewall in the data center, they can leverage their existing device to interconnect these two networks together. That's pretty much back to the first option. But if the customer say, I don't necessarily need any physical device, or I don't necessarily have any physical device in the data center, I just need the data center footprint for interconnection, then we can provide virtual appliance like again, Megaport Cloud Router or Megaport Virtual Edge as your, in this case, probably as your CPE customer edge device to terminate this on the Telstra side to terminate the business IP service. On the Megaport side, we can terminate our layer 2 connection. And in that case, two networks can interconnect together. Again, it can happen in multiple data centers. It can happen in one data center with different availability zones, depends on the customer's, I guess, routing requirement, the high availability design requirement, things like that. Yeah, that's probably the most complex and expensive solution, but provides the really secure and private connection, high-speed connection directly from any destination on Megaport Fabric directly into customers' MPLS network. The other option is, well, a lot of customers now already on the SD-WAN network. We can actually turn up a SD-WAN edge device on Megaport network and use Megaport Internet to build a overlay network with the customer's existing SD-WAN network. So pretty much consider that as a separate or a additional hub site on your SD-WAN network, which behind the hub side, you got the whole Megaport fabric. You can have access to all the public cloud providers, all the partners, and Megaport marketplace. On the other side, it's just a normal SD-WAN overlay. We do support a lot of options from Cisco, Palo Alto, Fortinet, VeloCloud, those popular ones. Yeah, and the management will be merged into customers' existing probably dashboard or orchestrator, things like that. So it will be a single pane of glass in terms of how do I manage this SD-WAN from two different entities. Yeah, that's very high level introduction of migration options and integration options, but understand there are a lot of I guess variations in terms of how a customer actually use TPN and how they actually want to migrate to different solutions. We do have a full team here in Australia to support our joint customers from Telstra and Megaport. Please feel free to reach out if you do have any questions or if you want to validate any solution or just even maybe just have a chat about um, can I do that? Do you do that? Things like that. More than happy to help and more than happy to jump into any discussion with this TPN exit actually happening very quickly. Another additional information I want to provide is if you do need you know have a more details about Megaport solution and how Megaport can cooperate with Telstra to help customer migrate their TPN product. Please just Google Megaport and TPN. We have a page that contains some high-level introduction, and also we have some blog article to introduce that various options, and also you can use that 2 pages to make connection to your Megaport team, and we can work together with your Telstra team to help you. Right, that's pretty much everything for today's session. And thank you very much. I'll just see if there is any questions from the chat or the Q&As. Yeah, I got a question from Hasib. Yeah, good question. The question is about locations where you can build this apparently pod or infrastructure to interconnect with Telstra. That pretty much all the locations, because Telstra has a huge list of data centers they honor as a commercial data center that they can offer a customer a great commercial rate in terms of a DC rate card. And basically all the DC rate card locations are on already enabled with Megaport services, so you can order any ports in those DC rate card on the list and interconnect your Megaport fabric with Telstra from those data centers. Not necessarily need to be in any particular city or any particular data center. That's all flexible. If you're not 100% sure, just to reach out to your Telstra representative and reach out to Megaport. We can have a joint session to discuss all the options. Right, that will be everything for today. And thank you very much for your time. Have a great weekend ahead. Just see you next time.